Hey everybody, David here, and I want to compare Batman v Superman with Captain America Civil War. Which movie was the best? Because let's face it, both of these movies have a lot of similarities. So I'm going to warn you now, if you haven't seen either of these films, don't watch this video unless you don't care about spoilers. Here I go. Obviously, the biggest thing that these two movies have in common are two heroes going at it against each other. Okay, technically, Captain America Civil War has a lot of heroes. They have Spider Man, they have Ant Man, they have Black Panther, they have Black Widow, Hawkeye, the list goes on and on. But the main two are Captain America and Iron Man, and they're the two that the real conflict is there between. So, what is the similarities besides that? Well, first of all, one of the big one is the villain's motivation. One of the biggest things is that the main villain is trying to get our two heroes to fight. They are the ones that are revealed towards the end of the film that they're the ones manipulating the two heroes into battling one another. I will say what I really like about Civil War is how they handled it more than Luther, because a lot of people are saying, and I agree with it, that with Superman is forced to fight Batman, while Batman is going in being manipulated because Luther sent him things to make him think that Superman was behind all this, and it was a lot of built rage from the tragedy in Metropolis from Man of Steel. Batman's rage has been, building up since then, and now he wants to get Superman once and for all, especially when those letters come in after Congress blew up, and Luther was sending Batman those messages, those letters, making him think that it was Superman that was sending them. That's what created the rage. Well, Superman, on the other hand, Lex had to kidnap Martha in order for him to force Superman to fight Batman and kill him. So, in some ways, the conflict didn't feel as intense because you knew Superman was kind of holding back a lot. With Captain America Civil War, you got Captain America and Iron Man also being manipulated by the villain. But in this case, they both have reasons to fight each other because the tension has always been rising with both of them, not just in this film, but ever since their first encounter together in the Avengers. There's always been that little tension between them, that they've always kind of butted heads. And in this movie, the main villain kind of brings that up even more, and especially with the different political views that both character has, that's definitely what creates the conflict. But then even at the very end, what really triggers Tony and Cap to go at it is when the main villain shows Tony and Steve and Bucky the tape that, hey, Bucky, Captain America's original best friend, OG best friend, killed your parents, and that's what sets Tony off. And I'm gonna admit this, I liked it. And unlike the fight between Batman and Superman, this doesn't end with someone claiming, oh, you have the same mom as me, your mom has the same name as my mom, holy cow, we should be best friends. Everyone's already made that joke, so I'm not gonna go into that one too much. But yes, this one ends a little bit, Captain America Civil War ends a little bit more tragically, where amends aren't really made. I mean, Steve does send Tony a letter at the very end of the movie, but it's a letter that doesn't really. It apologizes, I guess, a little bit, but it doesn't really clarify if they are going to be best friends again, or are those old wounds going to stick with them for a while until Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. We're going to have to wait and see on that. That's what I really liked about it, is that the fight between these two characters felt more real and more dramatic, and that's where you felt more heartbroken that these two are going at it because they've been manipulated so badly. Whereas Batman and Superman, obviously, they got over it after a little rumble here, and Superman was the only one with a clear head, so it wasn't like he was trying to kill Batman. He was trying to reason with him. Speaking of the main villain, of course, I'm going to say that Lex was a little bit over the top, but his backstory was okay too. This guy had a better backstory and a better motivation, that's all. Where Lex's motivation was more, he was going after these higher beings with power because he blamed God for the beatings that his father used to pound on him. And so he looked at Superman and other beings like that as, oh, now you're coming to save people? Where were you when I was a kid? He was kind of a resentful sort of situation where this guy is sort of hating on the heroes too because he lost his family. So it's actually more deeper, in my opinion, when you think about it. The villain in Civil War, Zemo. You also got to talk about some of the newer characters. For Batman v Superman, it was Wonder Woman, right? And obviously the introduction of some of the other Justice League members. While in Captain America Civil War, you got Black Panther, you got Spider-Man joining the team. Ant-Man is joining the Avengers for the first time, even though he got his own solo film and met the Falcon last year. But what I really like about it is how important Black Panther really is to the overall story in Captain America Civil War. Well, Wonder Woman, yeah, okay, she plays a role and she is great in it. I love seeing her there. But her role, you could have easily taken her out and saved her for another movie because the overall story had the focus on Batman v Superman. She didn't really have anything to do with that part of the story. She was just doing her own thing as if it was a separate story going on. The tone of the movies, both of them, seem to have a more serious tone, right? Both of them are... Civil War is a serious film. There are deep moments within the film. But like Batman v Superman, where it tries to have a little bit of humor here and there, I guess. If you want to count Lex Luthor's scenes humor, I don't know. Or Is She With You?
I thought she was with you.
I don't know. Whether you thought that was kind of funny or not, that's your choice. I thought it was okay humor. But yes, Civil War has the better humor. It works a lot better. It's fitted a lot better throughout the script, throughout the movie, and you do laugh a lot more. And that's what Marvel is known for. They're known for their humor in their films, whether it's a little bit or a lot. It's good to have it, especially between those very intense and very political moments. You need to have something to ease you up, especially with the tension, especially what's coming towards the end of the film. The love interest, okay, Captain America has a love interest in this film, I guess, Sharon Carter, but they don't really focus it too much in this movie. And with Batman v Superman, you got Lois and Clark, which I like the Lois and Clark romance in Batman v Superman. But let's face it, let's call it like it is. Lois needed a lot of saving in this movie. I've seen the movie 4 times, and I can honestly say she got saved 4 or 5 times throughout Batman v Superman. It was like she was there for Superman to be distracted and save once in a while, because Superman needs to save people, and that people has to be Lois. While the women in Captain America Civil War stand up for their own. They don't need saving. They kick their own ass, and they do such a great job doing it. I gotta admit, the women in Captain America Civil War are treated a lot more better and a lot more stronger. The visuals in Captain America Civil War are also really good. And I'll say for this, for Batman v Superman, I think they're equal on visuals and action sequences. I think there's a lot of great action sequences in Batman v Superman. I think there's a lot more great action sequences in Captain America Civil War. I think both of them are equal on that part. The thing why a lot more people might care about Civil War a little bit more, though, is that you're more invested in those characters. Well, with Batman v Superman, even though, yeah, you like the character of Superman, yeah, you like the character of Batman, the fight seems kind of unbalanced once they finally get there. And you don't really feel sorry for Batman. I looked at Batman like he was an asshole, and I looked at Superman that I felt bad for Superman because he didn't really want to fight him in the first place. And Bruce is just being an asshole, a stubborn douchebag, which is okay, by the way. I love Batman. Batman's my all-time favorite superhero, but that's how he was in that moment. With Captain America Civil War, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, their friendship is being torn apart because of this madman and because of what the villain did to them. And you see that throughout the film, that even Tony doesn't really want to, do this to Steve. He's always had not a grudge, but he's always kind of butting heads with Steve in the past, but he kind of respects him in a lot of ways too. And then when you feel Tony's pain after Steve beats the crap out of him, and as Steve is leaving, Tony says, "That's my dad's shield." And you feel the pain in his voice and everything. I love that moment when when Tony tells him that, and then Steve just looks back, Steve Rogers, and he drops the shield because I guess part of him still respects Tony a little bit. But these are two men that were like broken, that used to be good friends, and you've seen that in the past, and you see that in this movie, and all is torn apart, and you feel bad for that. Overall, guys, yes, Captain America Civil War is the better film. It's funny because a couple of weeks ago I was hoping that both of these movies would be mega awesome. And even though I still enjoy both of them, like I still enjoy Batman v Superman. I know it like I'm sounding like I'm knocking Batman v Superman down, but it's only because I feel, yeah, I mean, Civil War, you can feel, was the better directed film. Now, that's not to say that Batman v Superman wasn't well directed. We know that there's a 3-hour cut version coming out that could restore some things that could have been missing from Batman v Superman to make it a little bit more stronger, tighter. But unfortunately, it felt like certain character motivations were missing. It felt like it needed a little bit more development on certain situations and characters, where Captain America Civil War had all of it, you know? I will say, I don't remember what happened to Sharon Carter at the end of Civil War. The last time I remember seeing her was that she kissed Captain America and let them escape, and that was about the end of it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, Captain America Civil War, awesome. Batman v Superman was also a really good movie. I enjoyed myself. So whichever one you choose, it doesn't really matter. I'm just giving you my point of view on what movie I thought was better and why. And I don't know, share your thoughts below. Tell me what you guys think. Which one was the better movie, Captain America Civil War or Batman v Superman? Everyone's going to have an opinion on this, and I think I know where more people are going to lie because I've been seeing it online a lot. And until next time, guys, take care.